I plugged into the amp head. This is the Glasgow gig. This is the only thing I remember of it. I don't remember the gig at all. Plugged into it and turned it on and started playing. And then looked around the back, and the head wasn't plugged in, and the cab wasn't plugged in. And I was like, I know, but I was already half cut. So to check that I wasn't going crazy, I said to John by the other guitarist, like, "Come look at this, come look at this." He looked at it as well.
Yeah.
It isn't plugged in, but I'm like, whatever reason, I don't know. That's the one thing that stands out, that there must have been some like spectral presence that night.
Ghost, yeah. Ghost cab.
Welcome. We are Neil,
Luke and Dave.
340-somethings, reminiscing on the runners and riders of 90s guitar music.
We look at the bands who soundtracked our youth on both sides of the pond and interview some of our heroes from the bands that defined a generation.
You'll hear about the good, the bad and the ugly of 90s guitar music.
This podcast is Stupid and Contagious. Episode 95 of the Stupid and Contagious podcast. This week, doing something a little bit different. We're going UK 90s grindcore. We're talking to Pete and Chris from Narcosis. So that's coming up. Now, so I thought I'll find the
What's Luke
least
doing metal gestures, man.
Metal
gestures. Yeah.
So I thought I'd find the least Narcosis t-shirt to wear for the podcast this week. So I've got my Embrace t-shirt on.
Got your Embrace apron.
That's why I've got it on. I'm trying to be.
I thought you'd just been doing some baking.
Fucking apron. It hasn't got two things there.
It doesn't really.
I've never bought this bloody t-shirt. Must be 30 quid, I think.
It doesn't even look like an apron. It's just funny. Take the piss.
Right, before we get into that, what's everyone up to this week? Dave, let's start with you. What's going on in Berwick?
Really struggling, man, to come up with anything.
Well, it's a bi-weekly thing, isn't it, over there? Last week we had some news. This week we're not going to get any. Is that what you're saying?
Nothing has happened. Nothing.
In your life?
Just that for a second.
Oh, in Berwick.
How about in the life of Dave?
Yeah.
Well, I've just been going on an obsession coding up my project. I'm driving everyone.
Oh, giggly.
It's trying to for AI.
Yeah, it is. It's
literally
literally
that time.
I'm just starting to realise how much work there is to do.
Well, that's good. It means other people can't do it.
I'm probably like 2 steps from giving up.
No, don't give up.
Always give up.
Give up. All right,
Yeah.
give up. Yeah, give up.
I always give up in the end, you know.
Yeah. You might as well do it now. Why is it so hard? You just write a few numbers and shit in a screen, don't you?
If AI
Yeah, maybe
you can fucking do it.
Maybe I'm being a bit ambitious by having this app that can do absolutely anything you could possibly think of.
No, but that's what you want. You've got to out AI.
Yeah.
You've got to think ahead. You've got to be one step ahead of AI.
It is quite limited though, AI. It's not that smart, you know.
You're ahead. All right,
No.
so you say. It's going to take your job.
Smart enough to do that.
Hang on, whose job will it take first? I reckon Luke. Neil's safe because he has to physically be there at the weddings.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, if you just set up the cameras, like let's say the wedding venue has like permanent cameras set up, and AI just takes everything. They just film everything, and AI just puts it together.
Can't have a camera set up on each person. I guess it could just focus.
You could. That's a brilliant idea, Luke.
Stop it. Take my job.
That's your next project, Dave. Get coding.
But Neil, you could be the pioneer of it.
Stop trying to take my job.
No.
But you'll be rich. You won't need a job because you would have invented this new thing.
So I just set up cameras and you've got to put them up at each venue. But then it's a one.
Yeah, but once they're there, it's one time. Exactly. Yeah.
And you'll be selling this stuff to all these venues for,
right.
50, 100 grand a pop.
Yeah. Fucking hell, I'm on it. Right, that's that sorted. Look, we've just got to save your job now, so we need to come up with something for yours.
For AI to take it over.
What is Luke's job,
No,
actually?
for you to come up with a way of...
What does Luke do?
For AI. No one
Not
knows.
a lot.
He writes some books and he talks...
It's like Chandler in
Japanese.
Friends. No one knows what he does.
Is that the joke? Is that a running joke, isn't it?
Yeah, in Friends, yeah.
Do we ever find out?
Well, you as an audience know what he does.
Yeah, but they don't.
But the friends
Right.
don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't pretend you've never watched Friends.
Cool. I've seen like bits and pieces of it. I don't know the fucking lore like you.
It's not a lot.
Actually, we're watching them all again.
All of them. It's fucking
Yeah,
hell.
we're in season 2 already.
How dated is it?
Not very, really. Except
many-
that,
How many black
Except-
people have you seen in it so far?
Yeah.
well, there are a lot of black extra characters.
Are there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Butlers, waiters, cleaners.
No, in serious roles and positions, but I guess that's to acknowledge that there aren't any core characters.
Yeah,
who are
that's a
black.
token. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other episode they went to Hootie and the Blowfish concert,
Fucking
Bastards.
so that was a bit
Still
dated.
never heard any of their stuff.
They probably would. That's the thing. Those
Yeah.
fuckers would go to a Hootie and the Blowfish concert. That fits their character.
Yeah.
And it was like a theatre, an ordinary, like a
Sit
theatre
down.
they watched in. Yeah,
Mm.
they all had seats.
That's the kind of venues Hootie played, I guess.
Yeah, man. That's
Mm.
Hootie's gig.
Yeah.
But actually, when I heard the name Hootie and the Blowfish,
Yeah.
I remember them as just being awful. But
Yeah.
they're not actually as bad as I thought.
You like
go.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Here we
Yeah.
go. This is what
It's a
age has done
terrible
to you,
name.
Dave.
It's a terrible name. But the ones I really hated, I think, was it Blink 182? We were talking about them the
Oh,
other
they're
day.
all right.
They're all right compared to Hootie. They're they're fucking geniuses compared to
you had
Hootie and the
to listen-
Blowfish.
You have to listen to one band for the rest of your life. It'd be Hootie over Blink.
Yeah, it would.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah. But it's a terrible name for a band.
it really is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Although I quite like Someone and the Somethings for band names usually. Hootie and the
Like
Blowfish.
that one,
is not-
that
not-
guy and the Johnsons. Whatever happened to them?
They're
Ah,
still
well,
going, aren't they? Anthony and the Johnsons.
I think it's Anonhi and the Johnsons. I think they go
Oh,
by
here we go.
nowadays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
I can't
But that was
remember.
just one guy, wasn't it?
I think so.
Again, we have to-
Oh, is
I
it?
don't
Sorry.
think. I don't
Oh,
think.
right.
I don't think they're a guy. these
Guys.
days, but yeah,
Okay.
Guy's generic.
it's not. That's the problem, isn't it?
Oh,
When
no,
it
no,
becomes
it's quite-
generic,
Oh,
well, that's the problem.
it's not good.
You say hello. I say hello, guys, to
Yeah, and that's the problem.
groups.
Yeah,
Why?
you
Yeah.
don't say hello, girls, to mixed groups.
I filmed a lesbian wedding yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I just because it's just a phrase I use a lot, I did say a few times. I said, "All right, guys, just," and I did apologise. So I mean, girls, and they're like, "No, it's become sort of less."
Yes, but why did the male one become the default instead of the female?
Yeah, I
This is what
know,
I'm
I
saying.
know.
Who cares? Fucking
I
hell.
know.
Well,
They don't
it's
care.
important.
They didn't care, did they?
I care.
Look,
Oh man,
Okay,
speaking of
fine.
that, my answer to what I've been doing this week is I've been going deep into the manosphere. Fucking hell, man!
Don't go in there.
It's pretty scary. Well,
going into-
What's in there?
Yeah,
What's at the centre? What's at the centre of it?
Have you reached the
mass
middle?
violence and murder and hatred towards women.
Those brothers,
It's
Tate
horrible.
brothers, are they the middle bit?
They're just part of it. It's really horrifying. So I'm reading a couple of books. There's this book, Men Who Hate Women, which basically it's written like 4 or 5 years ago. Oh man, it's just
Hey,
terrifying. It's
but
just
you should do
terrifying.
you should get them all in a room and sit there and talk to them and convert them.
You could go undercover.
Well, she kind of did. So this writer, she created like an online persona, like a guy in his mid-20s, and she kind of went on different websites and stuff like that. So she
What,
kind
try
of
to
did.
reason with them.
No, just to find out what's going on, basically, just to research. But
Maybe
yeah,
you
I'm
should
thinking of doing my own research project into.
No, you should become a
Yeah.
plant because they've got camps and stuff they go to. Go to one of the camps and
mm.
Do
put
they?
yourself in there and then
Well,
just
they
start
take
trying to convert
yeah,
them all.
yeah. But they
So
don't
is it
listen
like
to reason.
Is it like a religion, a cult?
Some of it is, I think. I think that's
It's
the
much
most-
bigger and deeper than that. It's everywhere, basically. And there's different kinds of, there's different kinds of online communities.
yeah.
Yeah, but the main thing they got in common is they all hate women.
Incels, that's them as well, isn't it?
Incels is one kind. You
Yeah.
got pickup artists, which basically, try to teach men how to trick women into sleeping with them. You got
Right.
men's rights activists who are anything but men's rights activists. They're just anti-feminists. They don't give a fuck about men's rights whatsoever. Yeah, it's terrifying, man. Yeah. I got this new book as well, The Male Complaint. It's just published. So I've been going deep into it, man. It's
I don't
terrifying.
understand how you have the time
Yeah.
to do all this stuff.
Maybe
gotta
that's
make time.
what his job is.
You know every
Well, it
band
is
in
actually.
the-
I've been and I've been using ChatGPT to help me come up with a project. Actually, I said I want to pick your brains about this idea I've got, and ChatGPT was really helpful.
You know every band in the world, and you know all this, and you still find time to do all this. And
I told you, because I don't watch fucking videos of cats falling off shelves for 4 hours a day.
That's what it is.
Nor do I. You should stop that, Neil.
Yeah, I do need to use my time better.
Because I do a lot as well.
Yeah, it's just social media. I'm on it too much. I've got to find a way of getting off it.
Just chuck your phone in the bin.
I did say to you, didn't I,
Burn it,
Dave? I'd quite like to get one of those old phones, but like everyone else, I am reliant on this for like directions.
Well, you need a smartphone these days, but you can delete it.
Exactly.
You need the phone, but you don't need all of the apps on it.
No, that's what I might have to do. I have to cull it.
Yeah.
You could like fix it to your dashboard so you can't remove it from there.
Yeah, that'd be better. That would be better. Because that's what I mean.
Well,
it's car, fan. Yeah.
Because I use it for the navigating and stuff. It's good for that. Yeah, I'd be lost without it, quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other stuff is just I think I am getting to a point where I need to do something about it. So I'm gonna try.
And I watched a few videos as well. These kind of like manosphere kind of. It's just truly horrifying. It's scary as fuck.
Yeah, it is, especially for young boys growing up.
Yeah.
Well, and girls obviously, but they're
exactly. It's more scary for them who are the victims, right?
Yeah.
Is someone making money from this stuff? The manosphere.
Oh yeah, it's a grift.
Who's making the money?
There's always someone making money.
The YouTubers and whatever, and the people, like you said, they have like these big conventions. People pay like $5,000 a pop to learn the secrets of of women, and it's just crazy.
Yeah,
but they're basically teaching how to rape. It's horrifying.
Pretty much. Well, on this podcast, we do not condone that sort of thing, so we're doing our little bit here.
We are,
even though I did two lesbians.
We condemn it.
We do condemn it.
Even though I did call two lesbians guys yesterday. We are doing our little bit.
But they were
fine.
That's
fine. Well, they were fine with it, so it's fine.
And I did talk to them about it.
What I'm saying is society has made the male the default. And that's
You're right. Yeah. Yes. It's just become a term that's just bandied about as the term. Yeah.
And it didn't happen by accident, right? It wasn't 50-50 between girls or guys being the default one.
And that's why I was the first to say, I'm sorry, I meant girls. It's just a turn of phrase that, and they're like, get it. So I've told you what I've been doing as well now. So who else have we got? Luke? Well, you've told us as well. So we've done it all. Covered it all in that one conversation. That's good.
Here we go. That's smooth.
Yeah. Right. So shall we get on to this week's podcast episode?
Yes.
Let's
do it. If you are watching this, then please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, get involved in the comments. Let us know if you've seen Narcosis live or any of their incarnations, this couple of albums they released and any of the other releases that they did in the 90s or 2000s. They released quite a lot of stuff as well, didn't they? Yeah. If you are listening, then please do rate and review and share it with your friends. That's the most important thing. Share the podcast with your friends. If we put a post out, share it on your page, on your Facebook page. Really helps us out. Just finds more people so that we can get more people on the podcast. We've got an app that Dave lovingly put together for you so that you can seamlessly go from the podcast to the mixtape. So just go on, look up the Stupid app and download it to your telephones. Dave, you look deep in thought there. What's going on?
Yeah, you're right.
Thought you were going to pass out.
I've just been thinking out, I can't believe it's June the 1st.
I know. It is kind of...
What time does it get dark over there these days?
9.
Bloody hell.
Well, that's sunset.
Yeah.
It's not
dark. It don't get dark till
about
10 to 10. Yeah.
I've never been there. 10 to 10. Never.
That was awful.
And you have been there.
Even by our standards, that was awful.
How would you know about that place?
I was pleased with that one. Because it sounds like the time and it's funny.
This could be like a gateway in for grindcore people, and you're coming up with shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
You're right. Sorry. If we got any new grindcore audiences, and thing about grindcore kids, they love
obviously
bad
think
puns.
we're cunts, do they? Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I love it.
They're more than welcome here then.
Yeah.
Is it only going to be grindcore from now on then?
100% grindcore.
The channel's purely
all the time.
grindcore from now on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
grindcore all the time. 24/7.
Sure.
Well, you probably have to tell us a little bit about grindcore first as well, I guess. But tell us about grindcore.
Oh, I hadn't anticipated that.
Only
Okay.
a brief explanation. Or do we need to? Or just talk about Narcosis?
Yeah, I don't have a fucking clue what it is.
What do you
Well,
wanna
I
know?
do now because I've heard the interview. But
Right. So basically, extremely fast form of metal. Came out in the mid-80s. Napalm Death, Carcass, kind of the pioneers of the sound. Super short songs, as
We
fast as
spoke about
possible.
Napalm Death before, haven't we? Because we said how that's going to be a horrible death.
We did indeed. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I said Suffer was one of the best songs ever written.
Right, yeah.
1.8
Was that 1
seconds.
second?
1.3.
Yeah.
1.3 seconds of it. Stand by it. You suffer, but why? That's all you need to
Yeah.
say. No need to
Yeah.
say any more. Right? Yeah. So basically, and as I explained, it kind of came out of the UK grindcore scene came out of kind of crust punk and kind of hardcore. And so there's kind of a
Crust
punky
punk?
element to it. Yeah.
What's that?
Oh God.
Remember, you're talking to me and David. You know how crust
Sure.
punk is. Yeah.
Sure. So it's kind of it's very highly political.
Dave might know what it is.
Highly political punk, kind of
Right.
founded
Crust
in the
punk.
squats in the UK squats in the early 80s.
Gotcha.
Basically.
Gotcha. I'm with you now.
Okay, so Narcosis. We talk about it in the interview. They are grindcore basically, but they're kind of a bit more power violency than grindcore. If you're going to be kind of
Power violence.
yeah. So they mention it a couple of times in interviews. Again, power violence is a lot of people don't distinguish between the two, but it's a bit like they say, like grindcore often seems a bit more metally, and
Right.
power violence is a bit more punky.
Right.
So grindcore's also a bit more like the vocals are a bit more growly,
Right.
and the power violence is a bit more kind of like just like screamy. So for me, they're kind of a mix between grind and power violence, Narcosis. And even by grindcore standards, they're intensely fast, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're new to
Definitely.
grindcore and Narcosis are your first band, it's a pretty extreme example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite difficult to find information on them. As you may have seen, they don't have a
I know, yeah, I
Wikipedia
tried.
page, which is a fucking unbelievable that a band like that wouldn't have their own Wikipedia.
You know you can set
page.
one up, right? You know you can do it. Anyone
Yeah.
can do it.
I know.
Well, you should set one up.
you should be one of their main contributors, Luke.
I might do.
And let's see if
Someone
we
should,
can
right?
get this podcast to do it. So someone does this podcast, if you could set up a Wikipedia page for Narcosis, let's see if we can get this to happen. By next week, we're gonna.
I could probably do it just from like the notes I've made today, right? I could probably
yeah.
do it just from these notes I'm
Between
about
the
to use.
people in the group, we should be able to set up a Wikipedia page for Narcosis. They'd appreciate that.
All right, I'll start it off. I'll try.
Yeah.
All right. So as they say in the interview, they formed in Wigan in 1995. First of all, there was 4 of them. A guy called Tez, one of today's guests, Chris on guitar, Simon on drums, and a guy called Lee doing power electronics.
What's that then?
Was that his
Just
job?
like, yeah, it's like electronic-y stuff, but looks really, really fucking loud.
Powerful.
Power electronics. Yeah.
I might become
Um,
power electric.
So they had quite a lot of past members, and I don't really know who was in and who was out at various points. But according to their Discogs page, their past members include not only those 4, but also Jesse Owens, Roger Bannister, Sir Donald Campbell, and Mary Poppins are all
right.
listed on their Discogs page as
Fucking hell.
past members.
There you go. That's pretty.
Discogs is like Wikipedia; anyone can write it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume they did that themselves.
Roger Bannister. he wouldn't look out of place in Narcosis. Roger
No.
Bannister.
No. Don't know what Mary Poppins would have done though. Power electronics.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, she had a good
fictional,
voice,
though.
didn't she? But I mean, Julie Andrews, she had a good voice. She could have
Yeah,
done
she
vocals.
had some pipes on her for sure. Yeah.
She did. So they released a few kind of demo recordings in the late 90s, playing around mostly north of England a lot. And then Pete, Day's other guest, came on board later on, about 98, something like that, I think. And the lineup was complete basically. So the first album came out, Heart Slows Down, in 2001. They talk about it, but they kind of describe it as a work in progress. Yeah, I guess it's just the production is a bit, what's the word? Not rough, but basic.
No, rough.
Let's say.
Yeah, rough. Rough and ready.
I think it works, so I really like it. And then they had a couple of split 7 inches, one with a band called Morose. Melton Banana, great Japanese band I've talked about a few times on the podcast. A band called Swarm with 3 R's. Swarrrm, another Japanese band that I really liked back in the day. Yeah, I kind of half showed it in the interview, but do you want to see this 7?
Yeah,
go on.
It comes out like that.
Right.
And then
who's that?
you unfold it and it becomes an upside down cross, which is really metal.
That's devil, isn't it?
Hey,
nice.
Hey. It's really cool, right?
That.
It's really, really cool. Yeah. So
But is
that came
Narcosis?
out in 2003. It's Narcosis and
That's the
Swarm.
split.
It's a split.
Yeah.
Came out in 2003. Yeah. The one with Melt Banana came out in same year, 2003. And again, look at that split color vinyl. It's nice, isn't it? Nice and thick as well. It's really thick.
Like I said, a lot of their releases in 2000, but they are a 90s band, like origins.
Well, they started in 95, so they started way into the 90s. Yeah. Second album came out in 2005 called Romance. Again, as they talk about, it's a bit more polished, a bit tighter, a bit more of a coherent kind of set of songs. And I think it's a really, really good album.
How many songs are on it?
Oh, good question. Should we have a look?
Must be more than 10.
Yeah, side A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Side B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 songs each side.
18.
Yeah.
9 plus 9 is 18.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I was trying to work that out, and I was just gonna reach for my calculator, but you got there just in time.
No, it's not. It's 18.
All right.
Oh, no, what's happened?
But you see, the first album,
Split
the first album,
1,000 pieces.
side A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But side B, 1 track.
That's 10 songs in total.
Wait, is it? Let me check. Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's just a 10-minute kind of long track.
Right.
Side B,
Okay. Gotcha.
called With a Sickening Thud, which is a good title, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
Really evocative.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about their titles later, but yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Not much left to say, but Pete left in 2006, moved to Sweden, to Malmö,
your neck of
to
the
get
woods.
married. Dave's
I
neck of the
couldn't
woods.
understand what town he was talking about.
Malmö.
Malmö. Yeah.
And he's still there.
Tim,
So moved in 2006, still there.
similar to you, Dave, found himself a Swedish lady, moved to Sweden. You did that for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went in 2003.
There you go.
Mm.
I beat him.
Were you there in 2006?
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't
Yeah.
in Malmö, though. You were
A
in
good stint.
Uppsala, weren't you? And then Stockholm.
Stockholm. Yeah.
So they replaced Pete with a new vocalist, Jamie, but the band didn't last too much longer, and they broke up in 2007. Chris moved to Japan, which is where I met him. So I knew Chris before.
Right.
Well, as a
Got your
friend,
mate on the podcast.
not as
Yeah.
going to his gig.
Well, I worked with his wife, Tamami. I used to work with her when I was working for the British Council, and we were just talking at some like work event, and she's like, we were talking about music as I always do. She's like, "Oh, my boy," I think they weren't married at that point. I said, "Oh, my boyfriend was in a band." And it's called Narcosis. Like, I fucking love Narcosis. What do you mean? And yeah, so then I think next time, like, I met him, and met him a few times in Japan. Yeah, that's kind of how I got him on the podcast, basically. Well, I've only met him in person like I don't know, 2 or 3 times, but then since then they moved back to the UK. And we kind of kept in touch. And he contacted me a few months ago because he's got a new band called Charred Atlas, which we talk about. And he said, "Oh, I've got a new band." He just like sent me a link and stuff. And we kind of got back in contact, which is why I invited him on the podcast, basically.
It's just using
I'll
you,
talk a bit about
basically.
Charred Atlas, though. No, I was making it. He took a lot of persuasion. He was kind of shy to come on.
No, I'm joking.
I don't know. He
I'm
said
joking.
I'm not going to remember anything. But he was great.
I know you've been trying to get on.
You
for a
remembered
while.
everything.
He did remember everything, yeah.
Yeah.
So Charred Atlas are his new band, very stop-starty, as he calls them. Bit more 80s hardcore, but still in the grind camp. And they got a debut album came out December 2024, so in the last year. It's called How to Pick a Fight with a Planet. And their Bandcamp page self-describes them. Bunch of numpties from all over the UK making the noise clatter for the unholiest of Jesuses.
Pretty good.
20 songs, under 7 minutes.
20.
Are you sure it's 20?
That's 10
Yeah.
aside.
10 aside. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Might be
their singer,
names to
CD, he was in a band called Pale Horse in the 90s. And members of Pale Horse, two of them, went on to be in Million Dead.
Okay.
Frank Turner, who have
Right.
just announced they're reforming. They're playing
I saw
a
that.
few gigs this summer. Yeah, that is Narcosis. And Child Atlas, Chris and Pete.
All right. So let's have a listen to the interview and then we'll come back and have a chat about it. Here's Chris and Pete from Narcosis. Enjoy.
Just before we get on to it, are you going to be able to fix some of that audio on that interview?
I'm going to try. I should have said that before, actually, because I'm going to try, but I might not be able to. So before we listen to Chris and Pete, we did have a few issues with Pete's audio, which I might have been able to fix, but I don't know yet, just in case. We do apologise, but it's live, isn't it? And that's what happens sometimes. We do our best, but it is a Zoom call at the end of the day.
Why don't you just say, I've fixed it as best I can? Because if you don't need to fix it, then you can just cut this bit
But I
out.
might be able to fix it so you don't even know.
Then why would you mention it?
Isn't it? Exactly. All right. All right.
If you say you fixed it, and then it's like Bill and Ted. Say you
What am I
fixed it,
saying?
and then you'll be able to do it.
What am I saying then?
Well, it
Just say it's
manifests
been
it.
fixed. Yeah, exactly. Then go ahead and do it, and then it's done. It's like
Okay.
Bill and Ted.
So before we listen to the interview, did have a few issues with Pete's audio. I have fixed it best I can. Apologies, but it is a live recording. It's a Zoom call, and we don't like to stop them unless we really have to. So we try to persevere with it until we could no longer. We think you still get the gist, so it's fine.
And it does get completely fixed later on in the interview. So it's very
Yeah.
clear in the last.
Yeah,
But now
it's
what's going to
fine.
happen if you try and fix it, but you're not able to do anything at all? What's going to happen then?
Neil, you got to leave all of this in.
I'm all right. Anyway, here's Chris and Pete from Narcosis. Enjoy as best you can with the muffled audio.
All right, lads. Thanks for agreeing to come on the podcast. So, Pete, you said you're in Mudhoney in Sweden. That's great. Yeah. And Chris, where are you zooming in from?
Oxford in the UK. Nearest to Oxford, anyway. About 10, 15 minutes away from Oxford.
Okay. And Pete just told me you haven't seen each other since when?
No, since I moved to Sweden.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it might have been that last gig. Was it Chorley? No, Nottingham.
Yeah, it was Nottingham, wasn't it? I think.
I can remember that all day. I think that was the last time we saw each other.
Yeah. So that was what year was that?
That was 2006.
Ah,
2006.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 2006.
Yeah.
I think like the June, July, or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, because it was after the Pig Destroyer tour, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. We did two separate nights with He Who Corrupts.
Oh yeah. Was that the same? That was the same gig, was it? That was last time we saw each other.
Well, yeah, there was Manchester and Nottingham. Go out.
Yeah. And there's about 9 seconds of that last gig on YouTube as well.
that's a good 3 songs in.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's about 4 or 5 songs.
That was just tuning up. 9 seconds of tuning up.
Yeah.
Well, we might get onto this later, but you toured with Pig Destroyer. Fucking hell, that's pretty big, man. That's amazing.
Yeah. Do you want to got Pig?
Let's start there.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So I can remember. This is the trouble. I can't remember anything. How did that happen? I can't remember what happened. We were a DIY band. You know, we were like a punk band. But occasionally you had someone who used to book gigs for us, didn't we, Pete? Do you remember the guy's name? Dan Pike.
No idea.
Dan Pike. Yeah, Dan Pike. He's not with us anymore, I believe. I didn't keep contact with him. But it wasn't like we had an agent or anything like that. It's just he was an agent. And it wasn't that. He was an agent and he booked gigs for us occasionally. And it was, I imagine, probably what he could get out of it rather than representing us in any sort of capacity.
Sure.
And I think he put us up. We played with Death Angel, didn't we, Pete? Do you remember that?
Oh wow!
Yeah, at
Yeah.
Manchester. Mm.
Yeah, we played with Death Angel at Manchester. We got told off for eating an apple or something like that. Brody.
Feeling their apples.
You ate their
Scrumpy
rider.
from Death Angel. Yeah. Yes, I pull it.
Scrumpy.
Exactly. Death Angel hospitality, man. Put that down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all right. Sorry, I'm halfway through.
And they also pissed themselves laughing at us.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, get this up. Yeah.
Probably us and music, I would imagine. But he arranged that gig because he must have needed a band for it, and people knew it was in Manchester. And then I think he got in touch after that and said, "Do you want to?" I think this is that one. Do you want to tour with Pig Destroyer? And they had loads and loads of attention. They were in Rolling Stone, like top.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Top future of fast music or future of heavy music.
Was that before, like, where Terrifier was like the big album that kicked off, didn't it? Was it around there? Was it before then?
I think it's that one. Did they do something called Natasha?
Yeah, that's the track, second track. That's the last track on it, right there. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
because it was that. Because there was a lot of talk about that. But
Right.
so there was Us, Pig Destroyer, Halo, and Total Fucking Destruction. And so it was like the grind over the UK.
Brilliant.
It was like it was just over a week, I think.
Amazing.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. The response was amazing. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really. And we had people making t-shirts for us as well, didn't we? Have you still got that t-shirt, Pete? I don't think I got one.
I've got the grind over the UK t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's battered, completely full of holes, but I still wear it around the house.
Right, yeah.
Look, I used to be something, darling.
I keep telling a little boy, I was something. I used to be something. Anyway, no. But that was awesome. Was he 9 gigs or was it 7 gigs? It was something.
Until it was I think it was more like 7.
Right.
But there was a couple of really good. I mean, like Leeds and Manchester for us were fantastic. Really, just superb gigs.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Really strange.
We talked about this the other night, weren't we, people? When we spoke. Like, I can't remember much of it. You can't, but I remember the Leeds gig and I remember the Manchester gig.
Yeah, and the Leeds gig's actually up on YouTube. The whole gig.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of venues were you playing then? For that tour?
Not big venues, but like kind of like in Leeds. It was the what was it called?
It was that place that shut down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Joseph's Well, was it?
Well, it was.
Joseph's Well.
Feels right.
Yeah.
And then so it was like mostly about that size. So there was like a stage, and like kind of decent capacity between 300-400.
Yeah.
But we played Milton Keynes to the enormous community hall that was mostly empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Full stage to no people.
Yeah, absolutely. massive place with no people like that.
So it kind of varied quite a lot, which kind of suited us. I mean, up in Glasgow, I think we played Nice and Squeezy. And so like kind of venues that are kind of known in the UK at that time.
Yeah.
We're a little bit just playing back room.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
that gig when we were sound checking, and I plugged into the amp head. This is the Glasgow gig. This is the only thing I remember of it. I don't remember the gig at all. Plugged into it and turned it on and started playing. And then looked around the back, and the head wasn't plugged in, and the cab wasn't plugged in. And I was like, I know, but I was already half cut. So to check that I wasn't going crazy, I said to John Boy, the guitarist, like, come look at this. He looked at it as well.
Yeah.
It isn't plugged in, but I'm like, whatever reason, I don't know. That's the one thing that stands out, that it must have been some like spectral presence that night.
Ghost, yeah. Ghost cab.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, can we go back and tell us how did the band come about? Did you both join at the same time? I mean, who was there first? Tell us about it.
This is Chris. This is you.
Yeah, these are the bits that I cannot remember much of at all. I'm not doing well so far anyway, but these bits are particularly.
Still good.
I was about 17, and got into sort of fastish and noisiest music. Wanted to do something. There was a guy I went to school with called Tez who played bass, and we'd like practice a couple of times just with like little amps and no drums. And we ended up doing something, and then we advertised in a music shop for a drummer because I didn't know any drummers. We weren't part of any kind of scene at all. It was just me and him, basically.
Where is this?
This is in Wigan.
In Wigan, yeah.
So yeah, so there was nothing at all. I mean, there was nothing happening that I was aware of, should I say? That's more to that point. And we advertised for a drummer in the music shop. Simon Broad was what everybody knows him by. Or they did. He got in touch and said, "Oh, I saw the advert. Do you want to practice?" So we did, and we ended up doing that for about 3 years, I think. So it was about 20.
Oh wow!
And
that wasn't Narco. What was that? What was that band called?
It was called Narcosis.
It was called Narcosis. Okay, yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
It wasn't the Narcosis. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nothing. I mean, you've got a record there behind. It was nothing.
Yeah, that Heart Slows Down one. Yeah.
Just noisy and like fastish.
Kind of industrial.
So, and what?
Kind of industrial.
Industrial.
Yeah, small. Actually, area noisy stuff as well. So it's kind of like industrial noise.
This is like mid-90s, right?
That must have been. What was it? 17. So, yeah, mid-90s, about 95. Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you get into that scene? You know, the rest of the country was doing Knees Up Mother Brown and shouting Park Life at random strangers. How did you get into like extreme music?
I can't remember really. I think there was a guy who ran a shop in Wigan, a role-playing game shop, and I was always into D&D and those kind of games. He used to play like kind of noisy music. I started listening to it through going into that shop, I think. But yeah, there was stuff going into Wigan at that point. Just I was unaware of it because I was like 15, 16. There was Pete. There was the Den, wasn't there? Do you go to the Den?
Yeah, loads of times. That's where I spent most of my youth.
Right. At the Den, right? Because I never went. Yeah. I was just to underneath the age. I was 15, 16.
They were putting on like extreme metal bands there.
Well, hardcore punk. Like I know one of my first bands played at Born Against at the Den.
Oh wow!
And then we still like Jazz Solid Police played with Green Day at the Den. SNFU, No Effects played at the Den. All in front of like 200 people, you know. So it was like kind of this kind of punk hardcore venue.
So did you come from the hardcore scene then, Kate?
Yeah, I did. Like started off doing cover bands, but not till I was kind of like 19, 20. And so we played like just doing cover bands in Liverpool. But like the cover band we did ended up playing with Born Against. And we played about 6 of their songs, and we had to cut all of the songs out of the set when we played.
I didn't know that. I like
that. Which was kind of weird because we got very influenced by the old not New York hardcore like youth of today, New York hardcore, but like Sitters and Born Against and Rorschach and all them. And just that was what drew me in, just that screaming, angry hardcore music. And then after that, I did a band called Underclass. I think the Den had stopped by then, and we were doing like the 1 and 12 much more then. But the Den was a great place. You could see so many bands that were they were so insane.
That's in Wigan.
That was in Wigan, yeah.
Great.
So it's a really good place, yeah.
I can't believe I missed all that. I was just kind of too young to sort of.
Yeah, I mean,
probably be alone with my mum and dad, I would imagine.
So there wasn't like a gateway band or anything that kind of turned you onto the extreme side.
Me or Chris?
Chris first. Let's do both. Chris first. Go
on. Carcass, I suppose. Old Carcass and Old on Death. And then Extreme Noise Terror, all the Extreme Noise Terror. So that's what we were kind of like when we started off. Really kind of similar to those sort of bands.
Sure.
But those bands, when they were more connected with punk, I suppose.
Yeah,
punk.
They were more punk, definitely. Yeah.
Carcass played they all played punk shows, didn't they, when they started out? Same with Napalm Death before they all turned into bands.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, because like old Carcass and new Carcass, it's like two entirely different bands. Old, that's totally different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Hard to Swallow as well was a band for me, and Pete was in Hard to Swallow.
Oh wow.
So watching Hard to Swallow blew my head off when I was 16 or 17. Absolutely blew my brains away. Never seen anything like it other than
Same for me.
Hard to Swallow. Yeah, and you swallowed. You saw it before you joined them, didn't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Supreme band.
What was the difference? Just intensity, just the speed, or what was it?
For me, it was like I thought I think it must have been 95, 96 that they won the 12, and they had two vocalists, and they were all quite big guys, and they were just, I mean, it was like the closest I think we got to English power violence, like proper full on. But they had these huge Black Sabbath riffs as well, because they were all massive Sabbath fans, and they were just furious. I mean, it was like they have a song called Only a Glimpse of, which is the song that I remember distinctly, just me being completely floored by that song. So seeing that at a festival, it's one of those bands that you told me just thought never ever want to play after Hard to Swallow.
Yeah, definitely that. I saw them in Wigan. Oh God, sorry, Pete. Sorry, I'm cutting it.
No, go carry on, Cross.
I saw them in Wigan, and so just what Pete said, really. I think they were playing like for Tuesday or Wednesday night, and I thought on the gig there was Bloodsucking Freaks, a band from Wigan, and then at the top it said Hard to Swallow, a really tiny writing at the top. I thought that was the night, the promotion.
Right. The name of the
yeah. And then it came on. I was like, fucking whoa! Like not super fast, but really intense. And like Justin, what band is Justin in these days?
Yeah, Cripple Black Phoenix.
Cripple Black Phoenix, isn't he? And his drumming, just amazing, absolutely superb.
House. No.
Yeah. Well, he said one of the English power violence, I suppose.
Yeah, cool.
They also had a song called Action on a Split Mensch, which is like pure crossed out power violence. Fantastic.
Yeah. So we like Narcosis was more from not more was from punk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't have any real connection at all with metal.
No, I don't think so. No.
So we never played metal shows other than the Pig Destroyer thing.
Death Angel.
But those were kind of like anomalies, though, for us, weren't they? I think.
But I think this goes back to something that we were talking about. It used to be a much more mixed kind of bag when you play. We played with the Eric, which is complete funeral doom, as part of an all day with like some hardcore bands, some acoustic stuff. To get these insane grind bands playing or something, or a funeral doom band. And so it was always a really good mean. You never knew really what you were going to get.
And these days, as good as it is, there's loads of really super fast around. But there doesn't seem to be, and I could be wrong about this, but my take on it doesn't seem as varied as it used to be at gigs. You kind of like got gigs where it's all fast bands, or all slow bands, or all this band, or all that.
These days.
Yeah, you see, I don't really know what it's like elsewhere, but it seems like that here, that it's just as good as it is, and it is really good. And there are a lot of really good bands, but it's very kind of, to me, it seems like it's
the hardcore slow or metal, so
yeah.
Never the place for me.
Yeah. Can you give us a kind of a sense of the scene at the time? With the other kind of more punky bands we've spoken to, there seemed to be a lot of kind of, camaraderie, lending each other pedals and drumsticks and shit, and helping each other out, sleeping on each other's floors in the kind of the underground punk scene and the metal scene, compared to kind of the indie scene where they kind of fuck each other over and don't respect each other. So I mean, how can you give us a sense of the scene in the 90s for people that might not be aware?
I think it's pretty much what you said. I think because everything was DIY, and so bands got invited to play, and the other 4 bands or 5 bands, however many bands were there. But someone would take one of the first gigs we played at a gig in Newcastle, one of the bands had no drums. And so we said, "Can we use your drums? Can we use your guitar?" And you were kind of a bit, I don't know if I want to do that, but you did. And so it was kind of this weird juxtaposition of not competing with anyone, but you're there to play a gig, but you just all became friends anyway. So, well, you never have to think. I mean, it was very seldom we had to look for a place to stay because someone at the gig, we'll put you up over and put 5 delinquents up in their place. And so it was always good fun. It was always the right act, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a certain, I mean, we had stuff like the 1 and 12 festivals in Bradford. And there'd be 2 days of like 20 bands playing across the spectrum. And so you'd never knew where you'd end up. But you knew you'd end up somewhere. And you know, we met, I mean, I think we met quite a lot of people just from playing gigs. And just from just let's help them out.
Maybe you say people, do you mean like fans or other bands or both?
Anyone. It could be anyone. We didn't care. A lot of the time, the promoters would say, okay, you're going to stay with such and such. But if we played somewhere that we hadn't really played before, someone there would say, okay, you're going to stay with me. And there'd just be one that was in the crowd.
So you would turn up somewhere not having a hotel booked or anything, just knowing you'd get somewhere for the night.
Yeah, we'd turn up and we'd be like, halfway up, we'd be like, oh, where are we staying tonight then? And one of us would be like, nowhere. So, oh, okay. Never worry at all. We'd be like, oh, we'll sort it out. And we all
there was that, and we'll sort it out. That was the key for anything.
And you did.
People were just people were willing to do it, and Pete, you did it with bands. You like you put beer on. Maybe you talk about that. You put them up, didn't you?
Yeah. Both. I mean, one of my old bands, there were 3 people in the same band, and we had a flat above a shop in Liverpool. And all the bands that played in Liverpool in like the early to mid 90s, but invariably stay at our house, like Lock Crew would stay there, ABC Diablo, Gets a Depression, and they just end up cracking up on the kitchen anyway, really. And so it was always that was like an unspoken thing that he just
that's really cool.
It was nice. It was nice because it was kind of it always seemed like if people didn't do that, it just wasn't on not to do that, right? Someone would always put you up, and people kind of fought back and go, oh no, I can't, blah blah blah. People didn't like it, so it was good that the community sort of looked after each other.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Absolutely.
And is it also? I also get the impression that there were no kind of passive fans. If you were in the scene, you were doing something, whether it was promoting or doing a fanzine or letting people stay on your floor or whatever. So the fans were also active rather than just just coming to the gigs. If you know what I mean. Is that true? Or have I kind of misread it?
I think so. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, I think. I think that seems fairly, from what I remember. And again, my memory's terrible, but I think that seems pretty accurate. It was just like having loads and loads of mates in different cities and going visiting them every so often. So we'd always get there. We'd always know people like wherever we turned up, we were playing. We'd get there, there'd be at least 2 or 3 people at the front that we knew, like, oh, blah blah blah, is there, blah blah blah, is there. Then we'd go around and pack stuff in, and loads of mates would turn up. So it was just like having loads of mates in different places, or not like that. It was that, just having loads of mates in different cities, and getting to see them regularly as well. So
it's cool.
I mean, a lot of the time, because half of us, most of us were working, so because we all lived around Wigan, not actually all in Wigan, more often than not, we'd drive back after the gig. It was quite ludicrous to me, and like playing a gig in Birmingham on a Wednesday night and driving back, which was like a 3-hour drive, which was quite terrible, and then getting up still at 7 o'clock to go to work.
Yeah, that was awful. Do you remember when Priest was in the band? He lived in Leeds, didn't he?
He did.
So we played in Nottingham. We don't beat him Wigan. Play Nottingham or wherever, and then drive up to Leeds to drop him off, and then drive back down to Wigan, or start at Wigan, go to Birmingham or wherever, and then drive up to Leeds, back down again, and then you'd have to go to Liverpool after that, wouldn't you?
But I usually kept him all the times.
Right.
And then just drunk to work. Not feeling very well with all that.
We only used to play for about 17 minutes, didn't we? Gigs were only 17.
Well, that's one of the things of being a grindcore band, I guess, right? The songs are short.
efficient songs. It's definitely the case.
Efficient, exactly.
We do all of that for like 17 minutes. For 17 or maximum of 20 minutes.
Yeah,
But it was good.
Mm.
Yeah. But it was seeing mates. That was our social life. No, definitely was a
That was it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not for people and having a drink together was like nearly even better than playing.
Yeah. That's good. I love that. So the first album. So you're not on that, Pete. The first album, is that right?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So can you tell us about putting that together? I mean, did you have to like get a load of songs ready to have a full album when you're making short songs, right?
Oh right. Yeah. So that had some of the stuff that we did a split 7-inch before that. I think there are 3 songs from that 7-inch on that. And that came out before we saw Stack. Well, you'd seen Stack actually, Pete, hadn't you? But before we played and Stack were a massive influence on the sound later on. So
I don't know Stack. Can you? I don't know them.
Oh, amazing.
Furious German hardcore.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, super tight and mega powerful. Like Stack and Hard to Swallow are the 2 bands that I don't think I've ever seen anything as good as those. But the Stack records aren't that good. You put them on, you're like, it's cool, but they're quite clean.
Live is where they really came into the room.
Wild live, just completely.
No.
But that record was before we saw Stack, so I mean, it was still influenced by kind of like power violence and grind and that type stuff, and sludge as well. There was a kind of like a sludgy element to the music as well. But I can't remember. We just did those songs over a few years, and then someone wanted to put it out. So it was Roy Bolowski, wasn't it, Pete, who put it out?
Yeah.
You were mates with Bolowski.
Yeah.
What you joined?
I mean, what kind of budget are we talking about to put that together?
I don't remember really.
Absolutely no idea.
I don't, or if we ever knew in the first place, but
I don't think so.
Probably Bolowski paid for it, and we were recommended a studio in Birmingham. What was that? And when we got there, we won't mention the studio name because I can't remember it. We won't mention the guy's name who ran the studio because I can't remember it. But he's this is my take, and I think Pete, yours is fairly similar. I think his attitude was just a completely different place, coming at it from a completely different place.
Yeah.
Just a really different attitude, and
you just didn't understand the music, or
He didn't understand music. I don't think
sorry, Pete.
because I can't believe where Napalm Death born from a later album.
Okay.
He'd also done live sound for like Clapton. So it's kind of, so he just thought, well, it's going to be new. How noisy can it be? Kind of attitude. And then we came into the studio and just like this and songs like a lad. He was just like, when does it stop? What was that one thing? I mean,
I think it's stop starting all the time. And he we argued back about this, but we'd already booked it. We're like, well, we're here, we're gonna have to do it. But we argued back about doing it. We wanted to do it live, which we did on the record. Where he's like, no, you can't do it live. You can't do it live. It's gonna sound shit. Blah 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 blah. It sounds terrible. And it might have done, but that record we all thought sounded terrible when it came out. It's too late. Done. We booked it. We were there. It was. I mean, we could have turned around and said, right, we're going home, but I don't think anyone would have done that.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, do you still think that? Do you still think it sounds terrible? I think it's great, but I mean, why do you say so?
It's not terrible, but for me, it sounds flat. I mean, I think that was quite a lot of the recorded stuff, but it hasn't got that extra something.
So the second album, is a bit tighter. I think. I'll give you that.
I think that's because we played for a few years by the second album, and like we had the right lineup by the second album as well. We had Oliver on bass, and the fire must have gelled much better on the second album. And the first album, I think, is still kind of a work in progress because the work
that's a good way to describe it.
And I think the first one's a lot more crusty sound. It's a lot more of the sludge influence, and it was kind of fast paced, but Brody was still developing as a drummer as well. He was always a great guy, but he was really found on the street by the second album. And so I think we had much more confidence as well by the second album, which I think is missing. I think you can hear that there's a debate with the guy on the first LP. And so it's all right. It kind of, it's okay. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. But I don't think it's what it could have been.
Sure. That's fair. Yeah.
I really didn't like it. I still really don't like it. But I really don't like it. But I don't put it on, but it's come on when I've been driving. The same as other records come on when you drive it. It's come on when it has come on. I've been like, well, what's? Oh right, oh.
It's me. Yeah.
But
do you stand by the second album though? Do you think the second album? Are you proud of that one?
Yeah, I'd say overall.
Yeah,
it's the stuff I like about it, but overall, it's tons for me. I mean, different being part of the band, I suppose, and listening to it, you got a different perspective.
Sure.
It just sounds like for me, it sounds like a different band, and like your vocals on that, like you said about Brody on the first record, he was fast, but he wasn't like ultra fast.
No.
And your vocals were good on the first record, but on the second one, they're really.
I was finding my fix because when I joined Narcosis, I got the split 7-inch with my roaster John singing on.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, how the hell am I supposed to do that? I'm just open-handed one singing, you know. And so it was like that's something that I kind of fought with on the first LP, and because this guy wanted us to do everything, one thing at a time. Yeah, we've been there 5 days smoking, drink on the floor. I had a voice left when I started recording the vocals.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
And on the second album, I was writing simply like all the lyrics, and like we were much more in line with each other, just how we were everything.
Sure.
So it felt much easier for me to do that vocal. Plus, then a guy we knew, John Kettle.
Oh yeah.
That did the LP, and he knew exactly where we were coming from and what we were after, and I helped massively.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I really liked the second. I think I didn't like the first one. I was focused too much on my performance.
Right. As people do, right? That's understand. Yeah.
Like you said that now, and it's just like crazy.
Yeah. I remember you said that at the time, or just after we did it, you were like, "Oh, I've killed it." And my response was like, "What? You haven't? It sounds absolutely spot on."
Yeah.
The guitar on the first one as well. Like, it's not very good. It's just a lot.
Your own guitar, you think?
Yeah, it's just my play was it was a few years before that second record, so
Sure.
all it was like you said, a work in progress is a very good description, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, Chris, we first met in Japan, and you released a couple of split 7-inches with some amazing Japanese bands, Melt Banana, Swarm. I got a from here.
Oh yeah, God, I've not seen that.
How did they? Oh man, the fucking sleeve of this is so fucking cool. Do you remember it? It folds out into an upside down cross, man. I love that. Anyway, how did they come about? Was it part of your move to Japan? Was that anything to do with it?
No. So that was those were before that second LP.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, were they between the records?
Yeah. Yeah, so that Swan record is more like second album.
Sweet fucking vinyl there too.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, that's not banana.
Yeah.
God, I've not seen that for 20 years.
Yeah.
And the guy we recorded the second LP with recorded that Mel Banana split.
Yeah.
Oh right.
He wasn't part of this music at all. He had no part.
Pop bands, indie bands.
Yeah, he did pop bands. He did some bands that people know. I can't remember. I remember telling us about bands that people were on TV. Whoever, I can't remember whoever. But he did that, and he was in Wigan as well. He did that. I think he did the another split that we did before that. But he had no interest in this sort of music. But it was good, really, because the previous record. Yeah. You're going to say the same thing, aren't you? The previous the previous studio we went to, it was like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this.
Yeah.
So you do it, and we'd already paid for it, so we aren't going to leave. And so John Kettle, who did the Mel Banana split and the second LP, he was like, I don't know what it is. You tell me what to do, I'll do it. So we're like, cool.
Yeah.
Rob, not John Ketley, the weatherman.
No, but we
No.
Pebble.
Okay. Oh yeah, that would be a career. That'd be a career move.
Yeah, alternative.
Kickers on the front of the LP all the time.
Like he did that. We recorded that Milk Banana split with him, and we recorded that Swarm split as well, didn't we?
Yeah,
that took about 4 hours to do it, all of it. Like so that was to finish it. It took
That's great.
between 4 and 6 hours. And then the Milk Banana split was a couple of days, I think, with it.
I also but I think that was the big thing for us was him saying what he wants.
Yeah.
Rather than doing like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah.
Like Chris said, he's not he's not on Grindcore. He's just that bloke that other people like.
Sure.
We've done with him before. Another one of my bands, an LP with him as well, which is totally different again.
Of course, yeah.
LP though.
Yeah, you did that just before. You did it, didn't you?
Yeah. Just a really good place today as well, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of some fields, and it was tiny as well. It was like really tiny little place. So he wanted to record it separately as well, like track by track. We were like, no, not that. We did that last time. It's terrible. When you put it to the first time. So we got the amps, we got the cabs, and put them in different rooms. So it was still separate. Closed the door on those rooms, and then brought the heads downstairs with long cables, so they came all the way downstairs. And had headphones on and just played as we normally would. But the only difference was we were in headphones. So it was live. It was just we had these on.
Yeah.
It was exactly like practice. I mean, 99.9%.
Wait, so you were all in the same room, but the cabs are in different rooms to separate the sound.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No crossover onto the drums. It kept it all separate. But we were together.
That's really cool. That's really interesting.
It was really good. It was through the headphones. It was super loud because it had to be louder than the drums, so we could hear what was going on. That's probably not good for my hearing's awful. I don't know if what yours is like, Pete. Man's terrible.
What?
What's that? But yeah, it really, like, we were chuffed. We were really happy with the results.
Yeah.
Overall, that's so we're happy with it.
That's great. As we're talking about records, you're the kind of the compilation, your discography was released on Earache, right? I mean, that's something, isn't it? That's something. That's pretty amazing. Were you working for a while? Did I make that up? Did I?
Oh no, it was for a bit.
Doing what? Oh really?
It's horrible. Absolutely awful. Like, not a pleasant experience at all.
What was
I'm not the first person to say about the guy who runs here, right? It's been said by many.
Okay.
Many
He was just a bit of a wanker, or
yeah. Probably that's the way to describe. But he doesn't give a shit. Not that makes it better. It doesn't. Not very well liked in punk and hardcore, and probably metal as well. I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't really know. One head is very divided.
Yeah.
Okay.
Diplomatically.
No, I'm trying to be diplomatic as well.
Oh no, don't worry about that.
Basically, he's a businessman. Not a music.
That's interesting to hear. That's really disappointing. The amount of fucking amazing records they've put out. That's really disappointing.
They put out some like genre-defining records.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think he's those bands that we talk about. I don't think they like him much either. The staff working there, they were lovely, really, really nice. But he was not a nice person to work for.
That's fair.
But I remember so he's the whatever his position was. But the manager, I used to work directly with the manager. The manager said to me at that point, who was since left Earache, he said, I know he's a pain in the ass. He's never worked for anybody at all before. He doesn't know what it's like to work for other people. He got that demo when he was 17 or 18, I think. No Pound of Death said, we don't know what to do with it. And he said, okay, I'll put it out. So from being 17 or 18, he's never worked for anybody. He just doesn't have that perspective. I'd like to think that if I'd not worked for anybody, I still would behave the way that he behaved. Person to person. But yeah, he was not very nice. So I wasn't there very long. It wasn't long. Designing and chasing people up was the duties, really. Well, supposedly as a designer, but most of it was running around chasing people up for stuff that I had no interest in at all. and yeah, it was a very fun.
Did you do the artwork on the records?
Yeah. Again, I don't like that either.
Come on.
Did both of those. What I mean, the one in Romance, the black one,
Yeah.
it looks like a big smiley. It looks like a it just looks like a big Facebook smiley. I didn't realize that.
From a distance, I guess.
And then I didn't realize that the first one and the second one basically look the same. There's a big strip through the middle.
There's a strip across it, yeah.
I didn't realize.
It's a good theme that you did there. Good thinking.
It looks like a theme, but it wasn't. It was I don't think so. But yeah, oh, go on, sorry.
No, go on.
Oh, about the era thing. Yeah, that was long after we finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was long after. So
yeah. All right, let's get technical for a moment. So, Chris, you're a guitarist. I mean, how the fuck do you play that fast, basically?
Yeah, cool.
I don't know. It was fast like this fast with fingers rather than like that. I mean, it was
right. That's interesting.
It was like that as well, but it wasn't just that. So that, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy to do.
So you're not like a power metal guy kind of going up and down the fretboard.
There's bits of that, but I mean, there were no solos or anything. We didn't even think about that sort of stuff. Didn't even consider having that kind of things and those kind of things in the music. But being like that is a lot less painful or tiring than kind of like that. I don't know. We didn't start. All the songs didn't start off like lightning speed, but they started off fast, and then the more we did them, sped up. So it was Brody really. The drummer Brody was trying to go faster.
Yeah.
And then we got to a point where we were like, right, they're all this speed, so this is where they start at this speed. And writing this stuff, if we all started laughing after we'd finished practice, right, that's it.
That's a good one. Right.
I remember we did one song, and at the end of it, it was like bang, and at the end of it, you were like, "Fucking get in!" It's like, right, that's it. Handed.
Well, I got the same question for you, Pete. I mean, how the fuck?
That's yeah.
See, now, my experience is almost like this. We kind of accept this and this is not an idea for it. Okay, we got new lyrics. Might need to hear that a couple of times. And then you get involved, and then the thing will get back on bottom, and I kind of tip out songs that throw variations in the width somewhere. Don't know how it came about. Another tablet, a little notepad with kind of just phrase that I did down. And so when they played it a couple of times, because they go official, everyone, the two guitarists and the bassist and the dummy have all come together. When it became over an actual song, I guess that's when I start. Because it says, in fact, it's me to actually have lyrics. I'm not just screaming and ranting and raving. With the lyrics are with like 2 to 3 games that you're playing the dog. Got my reptile seconds to up. Was quite a long work. So it's kind of like a variation, but there was genuinely like all the that I wrote down were in the songs.
Right.
It does. It was just hilarious. Then they do something and it just stop bang.
Yes.
The one thing we practiced, we didn't just want to be a fast grind back. I don't think we ever managed to make it a grind. It was just about stopping and then hitting with the gill rest.
So what's the process then for writing a song? And there may be some people listening that might think 15-second song is not a song as such. I mean, why are they twats, and what's the process?
I think it tumbles up the walls and the perimeter, and then
it's the riff. The riff is the start. That's the bedrock of it. Right.
I don't think you said song, Chris. I think you always said I've got a riff.
Yeah.
I think you and Danny would have to help a lot.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, when Oliver came in, he was quite quick at picking stuff up.
It was really quick.
those, all these came together quite quick, I think. And sometimes it was found of like, honestly, just on like Cliff just falling down some periphery with guitar and I'd be a riff and he'd be like, I mean, what are we going to do with that? But then it come together in that start practice. Well, we'd always have like a really good skeleton of the song anyway.
Yeah, I think so. We exactly what you just said. I ran riffs and then we come in and say, okay, we could try this and this, and then we sort of go back and forth about which bits work. That would just be me and Roddy first. And we do that for, I don't know, about a month or so, maybe. Either the really short songs, these just got ages to write them.
You had a few longer tracks, so yeah.
They came together quicker than the shorter ones, though, weirdly, because they were
Absolutely.
Yeah, the shorter ones, but the really hard ones to write, because just trying to pack all that into a short space is quite difficult. But yeah, there was, as Pete describes it, we do that first of all, me and Brod, and then the rest of us would learn it. And we had no set. We didn't have a set list on paper. We knew all the songs, so we just go straight through them with like no gaps, basically, all the way through.
When you were playing live.
Yeah.
So how did you know what you were going to play? Is this that's what Fugazi do, right? They don't have a set list. How did you know what was going to be the next song?
We would. We just practiced them in the same order, all in practice.
Okay, so you do the rehearsal, and you're doing this, and then you just play that. Yeah.
And then we do that, yeah. And then when we did the new record, we had that to or shift stuff around. But yeah, it just made it a lot easier because you have to talk about it before gigs. Let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. It was a lot more straightforward in some ways.
I mean, because when we played live, we always broke the set down into these 3 takes. Did the first 5 songs, and then up to the top of the scope. And back up.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 songs, maybe. Quite a lot of that. And it was the pop and the steps. And do that a good way for it, because you knew, the second part would start, and there was the first song was there for.
Yeah. Chunks, like chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3. Like that.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder if other bands work like that. That's interesting. I've never heard of people doing it that way.
Well, the ones who do songs back to back with no breaks, they must do the same thing.
I guess so.
But I think it's only like this kind of music, fast music, where you would have to do that. I don't know. Or I don't know. Red Right Hand when you were doing Red Right Hand, you did the same order, did you, Pete?
Yeah, I think that was much more rhythmic. There was no completely the reverse of Narcosis, but Narcosis played like 17 songs in 19 minutes. Red Right Hand played 3 songs in nearly an hour. What's that?
It was super.
But it was like that was much more free and easy. That was kind of just like there's so much drawn out and improvised live, I think. And with Narcosis, it was always massively important to us to show that this just was a wall of noise that we practiced, and we stopped when we were meant to stop. And that became super important to us, to be quite a tight band, not just be a sloppy, no matter how drunk we were. And 9 times out of 10 we stopped on a dime. And I always loved that with us.
Yeah, the stops thing was quite hard to do as well, especially wet floors, because we used to turn the pedals on and off in between each stop. Yeah. You see bands doing it quite a lot now. We did come up with that. We stole that from Stack. So when we saw that Stack, they turned it. So every time stopped, pedals went off. The clean channel was off. So, and the drums stopped like that. So the entire thing was completely dead. But doing that,
a stop for his voice as well.
Oh, he had something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like turn the mic off, just cut the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just absolutely, completely dead stop. And it's hard to do it, especially when you're playing gigs where there's like beer all over the stage and the pedals would move. It's really hard to do it. But that was one of the things that made us a bit different, I think.
But it must have taken a lot of practice. Yeah.
Yeah, so we used to practice twice a week. I mean, that was what? It was like 8 practices a month.
Yeah.
It's a lot. What is a lot? Yeah.
24 hours of practice.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
For a band doing this kind of stuff as well, bands don't seem to practice as much as that.
No.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do not.
You talked about the lyrics, Pete. Can I ask about the song titles? There's some good ones in there. How did you come up with them? And do you have a favourite?
Yeah, quite a few. It's a lot of it comes down to sort of dealing with depression and drinking far too much. I was quite an isolated. I stopped going out, and I kind of didn't like where I was or who I was. And so a lot of it just came from like kind of the negative aspects of my life. I guess a lot of people have asked about the lyrics, and like a lot of the lyrics are just directed at me singing about me, how I felt about me, which maybe is really narcissistic, but it's not meant to be. It was just I was kind of angry and frustrated all the time, and so it came out in that. And obviously other people are going to come into your life that kind of inspire you to think about the wrong kind of person when you're writing a song or something. So. Favorites? I don't know. I used to, again, I think it's the same thing as when we wrote fast songs and it was like it just stopped and we laughed. If I could give Chris or Simon some lyrics and they laughed, I knew I was onto a winner.
Yeah.
Have you got an answer, Chris? Favorite song title from Narcosis?
King of a Mountain of Shit was my favorite song title.
That's good. Yeah.
Peel played that. He commented about the song title as well. He didn't comment about the music. He played it, but he was talking about the song title. Something to do with royalty. I can't remember what it was. Something that was
right. I mean, if being a cunt was people, you'd be China. It's up there, right?
That and actually screaming "I hate you" while I slit my own throat.
Yes,
I couldn't think of a better way to go.
But there was a sense of humor with all of it as well, wasn't there?
Absolutely,
and all of it. Like I think people looking in on it would think it was a lot darker than it actually was. I don't necessarily mean lyrics here, Pete. Just us as a band. No. But people who knew us knew that like we weren't like aggressive people or anything like that in the least bit. Right. We turned up for gigs, but it was a laugh. It was a really good time. So there's a sense of humor with most kind of grind stuff, the over the top type nature of the entire thing. Yeah. But I'm not in any way like dismissing the lyrics at all, Pete. I don't mean that. But it's just kind of.
I think because a lot of grindcore is quite political as well. There's always we could have done, but I'm not gifted enough. All I could write about was like sort of the life I was living. And so that's what came out. It's and so it was just, but then it becomes almost a challenge to make it more over the top and without being. I remember. Was it Ives or I think when Martin Ives read the lyrics and all he could say was, "Pete, can I talk to you about the lyrics?" You can't say that.
Yes, but they're not in a nasty way. Like that's what I don't like about like the American version of grindcore, like kind of the Death Star, which was just like misogynistic, fucking horrible, like women hate. And the UK grindcore didn't have that, right? It didn't have it, and so it wasn't nasty in that way. You know what I mean?
No, because I've read people comparing the lyrics to like the titles, especially to anal cunt titles, and it's like that's not what I was going for.
Not at all what we were about.
It's I mean, just because it's slightly horrible doesn't mean it's like that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of people never talked about it either. They just kind of assumed, especially in kind of reviews or magazines or and there's everyone's a reviewer now. So it was like it was kind of weird trying to explain to people, but not really feeling like I had to.
Yeah.
So I just had fun with it.
I think the American stuff, all that kind of that
cyber courts and all of that. Yeah.
All of those fans come from a completely different angle from what we came from. We'll talk about punk all the way through this because that's what we came from. There's a lot of those kind of bands in America, and I don't think they're all being serious, but the ones that maybe seem like they're more serious, they definitely come from the metal side of stuff than the punk side.
Absolutely.
Right.
There's a complete difference. It's not even like, for me, you're wrong or right. For me, it doesn't even seem like it's the same sort of music. It just seems completely separate to it. And they're not very good. They're mostly American bands.
They're not very good, yeah.
Most of them aren't very good. I mean,
I just can't get past the misogyny. I just don't go there. I just don't go there.
It's ridiculous.
It's just really, really tedious and childish, petulant, and all of that.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with the grind tag? You kind of distance yourself from it a little bit in this interview. Are you comfortable with the grindcore label?
I get why, but I don't think we're like just an out and out grind band. I think well, there's so many kind of pigeonholes to put people in now as well. I mean, we were just a grindy.
Grindy. All right, let's stick with grindy.
Not like sort of mathcore either. It's like a mix of everything, I guess.
But all the stuff that we're into, like there wasn't that many grind bands that we're into. I think we were way more influenced by power violence stuff, and I think the techie sort of nature of the music, which people have called it tech stuff, which I don't think we called it that time. It was only because it got faster and faster and faster. It wasn't that it was if you're playing like that, if you speed that up and speed up and speed up and speed up, I think it looks a lot more techie than it was intended to be. So it wasn't like we weren't influenced by anything like doing just like any of that kind of stuff. It was like fast hardcore.
I'd say discordance access were quite that's that kind of thing. But it's just I don't know. Grind to me just makes me think of like old Napalm Death or Terrorizer or something like that, which absolutely. So I think grind fans would be insulted if we said we were grindcore also.
I don't know. That's what the label I see you get called the most. But yeah, like you say, you don't need to grindy. We'll stay with this. The noisy. Yeah. So you said you left the band 2006, Pete. And that was to go to Sweden, right?
That was to move to Sweden, yeah, because I'd met the woman that's going to be my wife, and so I kind of knew. I think I was already kind of on my way out because it was just getting. We were playing more and more gigs, and I mean, with the gigs, there's an awful lot of drinking and stuff, and so you kind of have to reevaluate. Anyway, I was 36 when I stopped, so like I'm not a spring chicken either, and so it was. I think me and my wife made it kind of easier for me to take a step back, obviously. But I mean, even just playing those last gigs was just phenomenal. That was, but yeah. So
it went out on a good place. It went out on a high.
That last gig,
that's good.
Me out. Because we walked into play and people cheered. And, this was the thing with us. We played and we never thought anyone not liked it, but listened to it. Do you know what I mean? We were just the band. We were just five guys that just had fun together. And so it was kind of a really weird affirmation that people kind of knew who we were. I think
it's great.
It's great. It was that last gig with he was awesome. Looking back, we probably should have packed in when you left, actually.
So you kept on going for another year or so, is that right, Chris?
I think it was longer than that. So we did it was at least 2. It could have been a bit longer than that, but we did a tour with Brutal Truth, who I saw Brutal Truth when I was 17 or 16, and they were another one that were phenomenal live, absolutely amazing live, and the records are very up and down, hit and miss, but live absolutely amazing. And then we toured with them, and they were all right. And it was good. It was really good. But we got the second singer. No disrespect to him at all, but the vibe changed. I think it's probably it's not down to him at all. I'm not trying to suggest this, but I think it's one of the contributing reasons that we ended up packing in. Is because you'd left, Pete, and the dynamic changed. The vibe kind of changed. And we were doing it for years and years and years and years at that point.
Yeah. So it's over 10 years, right? Most bands don't last a decade, right? So yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was going to say, from my point of view with Jamie, is like his voice is insane. I mean, like the guy can, good Lord, proper screaming, but it drives me nuts when I listen to the songs of Jamie on that he doesn't follow the
cadence. Right.
It drives me insane.
Yeah, and we did that practice, and as we were playing along, we were like, right, he's not doing your bits, and then we'd stop and start talking, and I'd forget about it. So every single practice that we played, like, I've got to bring that up at the end, and then we'd forget, and we'd end it. But yeah, it was really different, totally different vibe.
Sure.
I wasn't just doing to Jamie. I'm not suggesting.
No, it just changed the dynamic. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Let's talk about what you're doing now. So, Chris, you're in Charred Atlas.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds fucking brilliant to me. Can you tell the listeners about Charred Atlas?
Similar. It's been. Some people said it's similar-ish to Narcosis. Not that many people have commented on it. But some,
Sure.
some that have.
Yeah.
But some that haven't.
That's what your mum said. Yeah.
I don't think it is really. I mean, it's kind of stop-started, but there are loads of stop-started. Like that. And I don't write I wrote almost all the stuff in Narcosis. The riffs, I didn't do anything else, but the beginning of it. It was very. We all worked on it together. But in this, I don't write all the riffs in this band in Charred Atlas, so it straightens that the Narcosis comparisons are there, but there are some. But it's like it's kind of like faster 80s hardcore, a blast beat version of 80s hardcore. I think you said something like that, didn't you? That it's well, a better time, and
it makes me think of like Siege and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Siege and Harris. That's what
yeah.
Especially because Siege's vocal style is completely different as well.
Yeah, it's not screamy, grunty.
That's what it really suits, kind of the sharp fastness of the music.
Yeah,
the songs are really short. I checked I think the longest song on the cassette you got goes at 44 seconds. The shortest song was 9 seconds. That's even by like that, grind standards. That's really fucking short.
But again, if you put them all together, it doesn't seem. We did them back to back like we did with Narcosis. We put them all together. It seems like one piece rather than individual bits. So when we were writing stuff with Narcosis, we it wasn't just like a collection of songs stuck together. We kind of worked it out that this one should come after this, and then we need to write a song that does this to follow that song. So we kind of worked out as a whole rather than just bits. I don't know if we've done that with Charred Atlas or not, but it's it's good laugh. It's good, and it's the reason for doing it was just to see mates. And it was the same with Narcosis.
Yeah.
Just like if some people meet up and go to the football with their mates. I would never do that. Don't think you would do that either, Pete, would you? Some people, some people do this, some people do that. But for us, it's just an opportunity to meet.
Play extreme. Sure. And you got a cassette coming out with amazing 80s video game artwork. Is that your handiwork?
Yeah, did that.
It looks brilliant, man. Looks great. Is the cassette out yet?
Yeah, it's out. I haven't got one to hand, but I could have brought one. I forgot. That's out. And we've got about another 10 songs written or so. Another split with.
Yeah.
We were talking about earlier about fast bands playing with fast bands and slow bands playing with slow bands, but we want to do a split with act that's not similar to us. So.
Is the split 7-inch the ideal medium for grindcore?
I think it is definitely for this band. Charred Atlas it is. I wouldn't want to listen to anything more than it's not about length time for me. It's kind of like amount of songs. I wouldn't want to listen to more than 20 songs of that, regardless of length. So
yeah.
An LP of it is just. I don't make it up for Narcosis, but for really really hyper short stuff.
Those.
Once you've heard 10 minutes of it,
I
think you've said as much as you need to say of it.
I think you're probably right. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. Pete, how about you? Are you what are you playing in bands at the moment?
No, I stopped. I became too old. 20 years of screaming kind of takes its toll.
Sure.
Yeah, so I did a band when I moved over to Sweden, which kind of happened by chance. And we did like a 10-inch and a demo and a split CD with a Russian band. But it became they didn't want to play live so much, and I want to practice and then go out and play live. I think that's where you come into your own when you start playing live. So it became a bit too stagnant for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that, and then we did another little offshoot of that where we did just a demo, but stopped doing that as well. Kind of lost. I think I changed what I was listening to and kind of what I wanted to do.
Do you miss it? Playing in bands? Do you miss it? Playing in bands?
Lately, it started to kind of creep under my skin a bit again.
Come on, yeah.
And I think it's just there's been like a lot of this week, especially for some reason, there's been like a lot of photos and kind of chat about bands I've been in or been involved with.
Yeah. I've seen all that.
Even with doing this, and it's kind of me thinking, could I do it again? Could I do it again? Maybe not. I'm 55 now, and I take blood pressure tablets and.
Sure.
Hard to swallow. There should definitely be some final hard to swallow shows.
But to say, I don't know about that because I don't like bands doing.
Reunions.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
So there's no Narcosis reunion show on the horizon.
Oh no, I don't think so. We're all in different places anyway, so it'd be.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, I think I kind of like it how it is. I kind of like. I like the reminiscent aspect of something that was an important time of my life, but I've no desire to revisit that time of my life again.
Yeah.
It's kind of people move on, and there's enough bands out there doing we had the 7-inch in 1996. We'll start playing live again, and then kids can pretend that they've seen that band, and it's like, So it's like what Chris is doing, perfect, and what a couple of other friends are doing, where they're still involved in like extreme music, but they're doing something completely new.
Yeah, and doing it at their own pace, and
At their own pace, absolutely. It's all about moving on and evolving, isn't it?
Yeah. That's great. All right, 2 more questions, if that's all right. First of all, I mean, I think most of our listeners are probably more on the indie side of 90s guitar music. So can you give some recommendations for the grind curious that may be tuning in?
Discordant Access, Juhu.
Discordant Access, the Inalienable Dreamless, the third one.
Discordant Access, right? Yeah.
Discordant Access. So you like the second LP, don't you, Pete? You always like that.
All right.
I like the third LP and the first LP, actually.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all Discordant Access. Get your hands on that. If you want to hear a real grindcore singer, just
pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, I mean, all of our references also. I don't know about Chris, but I'm so out of touch with modern grindcore, and I'm sure there is really fantastic stuff. So all our references are based on.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No, we're a nostalgic podcast. It's all good. Yeah.
Art Destroyer from Syria.
Oh yeah.
Arse Destroyer.
The Arse Destroyer LP is wild. I mean, it's all Napalm Death. Yeah, it's crazy. Makes all Napalm Death sound like Backstreet Boys. It's really cool.
To all noise, it's fantastic.
Well, again, like I was more into power violence and fast hardcore. So.
Can you give us a power violence starter band for the?
Man is the
yeah,
best.
I mean they're the foundation, really, aren't they? Yeah.
Crossfire.
Oh.
Yeah. Man is Bastard and Crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
But not all Man is the Bastard. A lot of it is kind of it's quite slog going. But the shorter songs are the
much more of our violence.
Yeah.
All right. And the final question, we ask every person we interview the same question. And the question is, which band from the 90s, it has to be the 90s podcast, which band from the 90s would you have liked to have been in and why?
Oh, it's a good one. Right.
Go on, Chris.
Hard to swallow. I've already talked about hard to swallow.
That's a good answer. It's great.
A band from the 90s.
Well, as long as they existed at some point in the 90s, it's fine. Didn't have to have started then.
Is Hero Is Gone, perhaps?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see them in Bradford, Chris?
No, I didn't. I really gutted. I should have gone to see it.
Astounded.
Yeah, no, everybody said how good they were.
Yeah.
For me, it would be Citizens Arrest.
Mm.
The 19 Citizens Arrest.
Mm.
Just Daryl's voice was a massive wake-up call. Just what you can do in terms of being aggressive, because it's not just screaming and it's not just growling. It goes the whole range. Especially the 7-inch, Light in the Dark, and the 7-inch is just a modern day classic. That would be my go-to.
Great answers. All right, Chris, what's the best place for people to listen to Child Atlas? Is it just Bandcamp?
Bandcamp and YouTube as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's on YouTube, it's on Bandcamp. I don't think it's anywhere else.
All right, that's good. All right, well, thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Luke.
Kept you a really, really long time, but thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem.
Thanks so much yourself.
Right, so Chris and Pete, Narcosis, lovely blokes, aren't they?
They really are, yeah. They were really nice, actually.
Yeah.
They were really nice. Yeah, did enjoy it. Genuinely enjoyed that one because I know nothing about that scene. I think that made it better for me because I was learning stuff as I was going along as well. I really enjoyed the interview. What about you, Dave? Same?
Yeah, I enjoyed the interview as well. And I'm just quite curious about the whole thing, because it's so different.
Yeah.
It's so different.
I can't confess to be a sudden convert. I still probably couldn't listen to a lot of it, but I still respect the music they make. I've got more respect now because I know how and why they make it.
Oh, that's great. Then job done. That's kind of what.
Yeah.
I've been kind of pushing for a bit more metal on the podcast, haven't I? That's kind of what I wanted, man.
I think
job done.
We're a guitar music from the 90s podcast. We're trying to encompass as much as we can. Why not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people in the group that listened to Grindcore back in the day, and if they're not, they're like me and Dave. They probably still enjoyed the interview anyway and learnt a bit today. So I think that's a good thing.
Did it help you understand it anymore, Dave?
Yeah, well, a bit. I mean, but it's just so they just bend everything.
No hootie in the blowfish.
No.
The opposite of hootie in the blowfish.
They're messing with everything, and like the whole idea that it actually took weeks. It takes a lot longer to make a shorter song. I can understand that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But what is that? Is it really a song? Is it some other kind of piece of art?
It's a song. It's just a different kind of song.
It is a piece of art. That's a good way of looking at it, Dave. I think that's the same. And I think
it's just a song.
I love the way that they were, because, rightly or wrongly, you probably would put that on and think, it's just a load of noise. Well, a lot of people would, right? But there's much more that goes into it than that. Like the saying the live gigs that they meticulously all stop at the same time and stuff like that.
Oh, it must be so hard, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. That really appeals, and I appreciate how difficult.
Yeah. To get a total silence after
cutting the pedals. That's an interesting technique, right?
And the vocal, the mic, and everything.
Yeah.
The Ukraine song in Eurovision just gone. I mean, it's not like Grindcore, but they are this stopping, sudden stopping in the song.
It makes a massive impact if you do it properly.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Especially if the song's been like 15 seconds and then you just stop.
Yeah. But of all that, and then really noisy and just a sudden, just cut everything off. Yeah. It's I love that.
Yeah, impactful is a good word. Yeah, it is.
I like that they were both sort of having a chat with each other as well. It looks like they were just having a bit of a catch up at the same time. I don't know.
They hadn't seen each other since 2006.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
19 years. Well, 19 years.
Yeah.
Nearly 20 years.
I said, that they'd been in touch, chatted on the internet or whatever, but not actually. I don't think they'd even had a Zoom call or anything. Like seen each other's faces since 2006.
It got me thinking actually, but. We've already mentioned the perils of social media if you use wrongly, but you wonder how many of these bands would be making a comeback or whatever. Well, I think we've spoken about this before. Without social media, it just wouldn't happen. I think for a lot of for most of these bands, that would have been it, wouldn't it? Without social media.
Yeah.
So
has its good side.
You just got to use it properly.
It does.
Not like me.
Yeah. Not like you.
Yeah.
Who were they talking about? With that guy that everyone didn't like, was it the sort of person that discovered Napalm Death?
Yeah. He's called Digby Pearson. He runs Earache Records.
Huge record label.
And his story's pretty famous. Yeah, so basically Napalm Death sent him a demo tape when he was like a teenager, and he was like, this is great, and he made a record company, and it's put out.
Just build it around that.
Oh man, it's put out some. The most important records in the scene, basically.
Yeah.
So Napalm Death, Carcass, Bolt Thrower, Morbid Angel, Entombed, who I made you listen to way back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that well.
That was Earache. Just so many.
It's earache for him.
So it's interesting that he seems to be a complete wanker, right?
Yeah, it seems like it, yeah.
Where are Napalm Death from?
Birmingham.
And he's from Birmingham too, is he, this Pierce?
Digby. I don't know. I guess so. It was funny. Well, he was honest, right? But it seems like it's everyone else says the same thing.
Yeah, it seems to be like it's not just
a well-known thing. No.
Yeah, but I guess a lot of the time, if you're successful, I think sometimes you do have to be a bit of a wanker. Sometimes
don't fall for that fallacy. Of course you don't. No, you don't.
You do.
But I wonder.
Ruthless.
This is part of the manosphere. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to be a cunt to win in life.
No, I'm in the manosphere. How did that happen?
You are. You're in the manosphere, man. You're taking.
But nowadays,
ridiculous masculine.
I just fell in.
Nonsense.
I fell in without realising.
But you think nowadays being a cunt, that would be some kind of diagnosis you could get,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of a disability, isn't it?
Sir, you appear to just be a bit of a cunt.
Here's,
yeah. So it's not his fault.
Right.
It's not his fault, is it?
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's
undiagnosed.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wonder if they wrote that song for him. If being a cunt was people, you'd be China. I wonder if that was
that I do like that.
Dissect that. What's going on in that title?
It's a good one.
That's what it says on the tin, doesn't it?
Oh, that'd be
of course.
Be a better word choice.
Population.
People, does it?
Population would be a better word choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that. I liked his point about it's quite early on about bands sharing instruments, which reminded me of a Main Street gig where.
Oh, fuck's sake!
I thought I'd try and shoehorn Main Street into a grindcore episode.
Oh, yeah, go on.
So our drummer Sean. So obviously bands always share drums, right? So our drummer Sean, we used the headlining band's drums, and he broke their kick drum pedal, and we had a really good gig, and they had
because he was rocking so hard.
Yeah, and it sparked a little. It was like a feud that went on for a good few years with another band in Bournemouth. It's a bit like Blur Oasis, but
name the rival band.
They were called The Adored. So there's The Adored Main Street rival.
Oh yeah, they're brilliant. They were awesome. Get them on the playlist, Luke.
Get them on the playlist. They were
mate,
good,
already there.
But they were quite good.
The Stone Roses were singing about them, weren't they?
Yeah,
wanted to see them.
Just reminded me of that. Anyway,
sure.
It's a risk. It's a risk if you're sharing your equipment, isn't it? But you can't change the drums for each band. It's nuts.
It's a nice story, but Main Street's 100% at fault.
They broke it.
Yeah. Did you do all you could to sort it out for them?
No. What could you do?
There you go.
It's like my roof that Neil smashed with his van. He still hasn't sorted that out.
Oh, we were going to do that last week.
He's probably about 20 times said, "Oh, I'll sort that out next week," or "I'll sort that out in a minute." Yeah. He hasn't lifted a finger.
I just forget.
It's the same.
It reminds me of
that drum.
It reminds me of the Main Street, The Adored feud. That story.
Exactly.
I've heard that. Now, what bands usually do is they usually bring. So it's usually the drums, right? That they just keep on stage for the whole time because you can't just change.
Makes sense.
You bring your own. You bring the drummers bring their own snare because that's what gets bashed. So they
to trap them.
And stuff. In snare. Fucking hell.
I'm not a technical guy, man. I don't know this stuff.
Just a drum. It's the drum that they hit really hard. So they all bring their own one of those. They just swap those.
Aren't they really big?
No, the snare's got quite a small one. The kick drum's the big one.
Oh, that's the big one.
But that's got like a pedal, so it doesn't.
And that's what you broke.
But he broke the pedal. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Good story, isn't it?
Yeah, cut that out. Yeah. Cut the whole story out.
No. Well, I'm hoping it reignites the feud.
I hope so. Might get a few more plays on Spotify.
Well, not only sharing instruments, but sleeping on people's floors. And they said they never booked a hotel room because they knew someone would put them up. But
isn't that just a sign they didn't have much money?
It's probably part of it.
Trust.
But it's just and trust, exactly. The love of the scene, man. It's great.
But I guess that's one of those. If you put yourself in that situation where you have to stay somewhere, then you're going to make it work somehow.
Sort something out.
You have to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. I couldn't sleep on a floor now.
Might have to.
It's age. I couldn't. I'd just wake up. My bones would be in pieces.
It might be good for you. It's supposed to be good for you, isn't it? If you're like on a flat surface, it's supposed to help.
You should
just
try
straight back on your back.
Go to bed on a bed of nails every night. Or a bed of roses.
Right. I think I would gravity slowly sink me into the nails.
Why don't you try it tonight? Just sleep on like a plank.
Make yourself a bed of nails.
Just a plank.
Victoria used to have a bed of nails, actually. Like some kind of therapy.
Some kinky shit.
I thought that was a yoga thing. I thought you'd have been on beds of nails.
Well, I'll try it.
Yeah, you haven't reached that level of yoga.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Not that sort of zen yet, but maybe that's the next step. I think you made a good point about, that because he won't mind me saying this, the scenes are quite small, right? Those scenes. Yeah. So they were more, in a way, if you got into that scene as a fan, you were, like you said, you're more sort of
involved.
Yeah, involved in it rather than just a passive sort of observer. You were sort of getting involved in what's going on, which makes it more
cool, right?
Investment in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Totally. Yeah.
I like that.
That's great. Yeah,
you
me
get
too.
close to the artists that you like. They're not sort of unattainable like some bands are. Well, most bands.
Yeah. 17-minute sets. What do you reckon about that?
It's good, isn't it? I mean, especially these days, I get tired.
Yeah.
Very tired. So that would be good for me. Go and see a band, 17 minutes, back on the train home. Nice.
Well, see,
a bit longer.
Well, see, most kind of metal shows, like I still go to quite a lot of metal shows now. There's like 6 or 7 bands usually on for one.
Right. So you still get your money,
that's good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So instead of having like one support act, there'll be 6
if you didn't like a band that was playing, if you don't like a band that's playing, usually you've got to go fuck off for like half hour, 45 minutes and come back. But then you could just nip off, get yourself a packet of Chris or whatever, come back, and the next band will be on.
Yeah,
nice.
It's all right.
Yeah, I like that. No, yeah, I like.
But like
that.
he said, having to drive hours and hours, and then get home for work the next morning to play for 17 minutes. But like he said it was a social side as well. They would be talking to the other bands.
Yeah, well, you'd
talking to the fans.
You'd watch the other bands, like you say. There's 6 or 7 bands on. It's so it's an evening out, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that aspect of it.
Do they play faster live than the recording, like most bands?
Probably
they go even faster.
The adrenaline.
Is it possible?
Going, wouldn't they?
Don't know if it's even possible, right? Yeah.
Like, do you see those old videos of the Beatles doing gigs? It was at almost double time.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I didn't like that at all. It's way too fast.
It's difficult to sort of not get too excited when you're playing live. I think a lot of bands use like click tracks now to keep them in time, so they don't rush ahead. The drummers do anyway. Yeah. I think that's a big.
I'm pretending I know what a click track is. I'm nodding.
It's a beat in your ear. You say we're in ears. It beat
like a metronome
for the song. Yeah, so you know.
They wear what?
Okay, wear like in ear, like we've got.
Okay.
These.
Yeah.
They wear these, and then the sound guy at the front will play them a click track, like just a beat like that,
and that would go into there. Right, they help them kick time.
And then they can.
And then people follow the drummer.
Yeah.
And everyone else follows the drummer. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that happens quite a lot these days. Also, a lot of the time, bands are playing along to like a ready-made track. So there's a whole track that's ready-made that they sort of all play along to. I think that happens quite a lot too.
And they've all got it going on in their ears?
Yeah, I think so.
How can they pay attention to the actual song they're playing?
Well, they can hear bits of whatever else is going on as well. It's clever stuff,
It's the magic of ears.
Cheating. Yeah,
it's kind of cheating, but it I don't really mind it because I think, it's still live. It's just they've got an extra bit. Not like Placebo, where someone off stage fucking pretending to play.
Sure.
I still don't think that.
Speaking of playing live, it's interesting when he was talking about making the second album and they were all playing at the same time. Yeah. But just in separate rooms to separate the sound. That's a great idea, right?
I mean, I know I don't like, but we did do a similar thing in Main Street once. It's quite a common practice when you're recording to do that. Yeah, because you're all in the same room still, but you can't. Everything else is outside the room. It's quite weird. So the drummer's playing live in the room, and everyone else is there with their instruments, but the actual amplifiers are in other rooms, but you're hearing them through headphones.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the sound's purely separate on different tracks.
Yeah, so the only sound in that room will be the drums, and everything else.
I thought they were all standing in different rooms, but they were listening.
No, you can do that as well. You can, but the way they did it in this, they're all in the same room, playing live together. But you could only in that room you could only physically hear the drums, and then everything else is in different rooms getting recorded.
That's clever.
So then you can separate them and mix them afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. I love hearing stuff like that about recording processes. I think it's quite common to do that, but not all bands do. Some bands they'll record the drummer, then they get the guitarist and do his bits. They'll do it all separate, but they really wanted to get a live take.
Yeah.
One thing that was surprising in the interview was they both didn't like their first album. They both really hated it.
Seemed a bit cagey about it,
weren't they? Yeah. But again, another case of the producer thinking they know better than the band, right? So it seemed.
I think especially with that sort of music it is quite niche, right? I'd say. Yeah. Then the people that know about that music most are the people playing it, right? Like you're not going to get many producers that specialize in that sort of music. So the second album, he kind of butted out and said, "You just do what you need to do. I'll try and sort of."
But again, if you're a young band and it's your first album, you don't know, right? You trust the producer, right? So
yeah. It must be quite weird if you're used to producing bands like, I don't know, normal indie bands, and then someone like that comes in and you've got to try and apply the same logic to that sort of music. You just can't.
Yeah. Well, then you should be humble enough to let them kind of, to learn from them, shouldn't you?
I agree.
Which looks like the second album guy was. Yeah. And also, it's a good album. I don't know. I understand what they mean about the production a little bit, but the songs are there. I think it's great.
Yeah. People are always going to be more self-critical than outsiders, aren't they?
They are indeed.
That's just art in general. I made the same John Ketley joke in my head. You said it out loud.
How could I not?
You knew very well what.
I honestly thought he said Ketley. I honestly thought he said Ketley.
I did the same thing.
I didn't.
Oh man, should I put that on the playlist? John Ketley is a weatherman. Yeah. That'll fit nicely with the Grindcore soundtrack.
But I was chuckling because I was thinking the same thing, and then you said it.
Had to be done.
Who's your favourite weatherman of all time, or woman?
Ulrika Johnson.
She was a weather woman, wasn't she? You're right. Yeah. That's how she started.
Yeah.
What?
You can't beat Ulrika, can you?
Yeah, but that's a bit misogynistic. Just because she's a woman.
Honestly, it was the first one that came into my head, but she was pretty fit though.
Fell down the.
What about Ron Lobeck?
Who's Ron Lobeck?
No, Ron Lobeck.
Never heard of him.
I forgot all about him until Dave just.
He was the TVS weatherman on Coast to Coast.
Yeah, he was the local weatherman.
So many of our listeners won't know him either.
Right. It's only like John Ketley and Michael Fish. Are there any other famous ones? Or how
Bill
about
Giles?
What's the guy that used to jump around the map? The old dude.
What's the guy that had like his first name and his last name were like the same?
Magnus Magnusson.
But like
Neville.
Edward Woodward.
It's cool. Like Francis or something. No, Francis. Was there a weatherman called Francis?
No.
No, I like the guy. The old dude who used to jump around the map on This Morning when it first started.
Didn't he get Operation U-Treed?
Right done. I think he did.
Is that Giles Brandreth?
No, I don't know. I think he did get U-Treed. If he didn't, I apologise, but.
Yeah, he might not have done. He might not have done, to be fair. Oh, I loved that map, though.
That was good, wasn't it?
And everyone, when he jumped to Northern Ireland, everyone cheered.
Yeah.
It was good, wasn't it? Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
they should bring that back. Well, they might still do it. Do they still do it?
I don't know.
So. Health and safety these days, Wouldn't be allowed. World's gone mad, isn't it?
Right, yeah. I saw that John Noakes climbing Nelson's Column thing the other day. That was another thing that popped up on TikTok that I watched the whole thing of. But that's quite good. Have you ever seen it?
Was it a Blue Peter episode?
It's mental. It's just they've just tied a ladder to Nelson's Column, like loads of ladders. And he goes up, no helmet, no safety line, or they just climb up this rickety ladder to the top of Nelson's Column.
It's all right.
It's mental. Watch it. It's quite mad. Anyway, digress a little bit.
We do indeed. It's interesting what he was talking about. So I asked him how it's possible to play so fast, and his explanation was pretty interesting, right?
This is what I liked is you've got to watch the YouTube video.
You have to watch the YouTube, yeah.
Can you go and watch YouTube because he does it's quite a good little visual.
He moves his fingers basically as if they're on an imaginary fretboard very quickly.
Yeah,
but all in the same place. Basically,
yeah, I don't know.
But that's still fucking difficult.
Yeah, this is the one. See, like I said, I'm not particularly that music's not really my thing, but I do respect the musicianship in any of those bands, like the really fast metal bands, and and this sort of thing, because it's just mental. You just don't. I know he told us how he does it, but like Dave said, it's still fucking hard. Yeah. That's not easy to do that.
Same with the vocals as well. It's like he said, you know, after being basically a grindcore vocalist for 20 years, your voice is going to be fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I don't know how they do it. Yeah, it's so I respect that music more than anything. I do. I always have. It's a bit like the drumming as well. I don't know how you fucking drum that quickly.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem possible.
Are they really drumming that then?
Yeah, they've got like double kick pedals or triple kick pedals sometimes where I don't know how it works, but it's just fucking nuts.
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
Would it be sacrilegious to try and play some of the songs at half speed so you can hear more clearly what's in it?
Probably.
You can do whatever you like.
Slow it down. Put on some Narcosis and slow it down.
Put a 45 on 33 and see how it sounds.
You can just slow it down. You could do AI it, can't you? Probably get AI to slow it down. If it can take your job, then it can slow down some music.
There was that thing that went viral, wasn't it, a few years ago? It was like a slowed down version of Justin Bieber. And it sounded like fucking Bauhaus or something. It sounded like
that's right. They did that to someone. If you slow down Jolene by
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, slow that down to 30. I think it's on 45. Slow it down to 33. It sounds really good. Really good.
It sounds good anyway.
Yeah, but it still sounds good, but different.
It's just
gone.
Speaking of Justin Bieber, he's balding, isn't he?
Well, he's got a lot going on.
Bieber, I suppose. He's only 30, though. He's only 30 and he's already losing his hair. But I think that's about right. People do, don't they? I guess that's not too young.
No, still on mine. Starting to slide back a bit.
A bit? It's a bit Jack Nicholson at the moment, mate.
I know, I'm trying to grow it, aren't I? So I'm at that in-between stage. I either carry on looking stupid for a bit or I just give up. I know I should give up, but I'm going to carry on.
I vote give up.
I'm going to carry on.
Back me up, Dave. Back me up.
Yeah, 2-1.
I'm not giving up.
Head over to Dave's later, and his daughter will shave it off for you.
Can't give up. I'm not giving up.
He doesn't give things up.
I don't.
You know, he'll keep going ad nauseum.
Yeah, I know.
I'll probably grow it, and then I'll get to the point where it's as long as I want it, and then I'll go, oh, actually, it still looks shit. I'll cut it off.
But you're going to look like that guy off
Terry Nutkins.
Living Daylights.
Because of that guy.
Yeah, Terry Nutkins.
Terry Nutkins meets Jack Nicholson.
Got a bald patch.
Jack Nicholson.
Peter Davidson.
I know who that is.
I tell you what I want it to look like.
He played Doctor Who and went bald in a similar way to Neil.
What's his name?
And kept growing his hair.
I want it to look like Marcus Waring's hair.
Mr. Waring from School's brother.
No, the
Baring, Mr. Waring.
The chef, Marcus Waring.
Marcus. I'm Googling.
Do it.
How do you spell Waring?
Right. He's got it pushed, but I mean, that's still, he's a bald guy.
Oh, yeah, you'll achieve that.
He
looks awful.
That's all right. I quite like it.
But you can do that.
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
You could do it.
It's basically your dad's hair.
This is basically your dad.
My dad's got short hair.
He looks a bit like him.
He's got long hair. He does look a bit like him. But that's what I'm going for. I don't care. I'm going to give it a go. It's my last go at it. And then
the last hurrah. Yes, you enjoy it, mate. You enjoy it. Why
well, yeah. I mean, if you want to repel people, maybe that's fine.
Well, I don't think it, to be honest, I don't think it really makes much difference anymore. I don't see anyone, so it's fine. I think we mentioned this earlier on, but yeah, because Dave was saying it's more like it's a piece of art, right? So that a 9-second song on its own, it's probably. But
it has a riff. It has the drums. It has lyrics. It's a song.
Yeah, but it
would be disqualified from Eurovision.
Don't think that.
If we're defining a song based on Eurovision, we're in big trouble. Music's in big trouble.
Yeah, let's discount their view on a song.
Yeah,
but there's a length limit. They have a length limit, don't they?
A minimum,
right? But
a minimum and a maximum.
What is it?
Do you know what it is?
It has to be from 250 to 320 or something like that.
You think?
Oh, really?
Or you know?
That's an estimate. I could
All
go
right, so we won't make
research,
Eurovision.
but I can't be bothered.
But I think even he was saying that they're more part of a body of work, right? Those albums. They're not songs on their
that's
own.
what he said.
They are songs, but they played them all. They always play them in the same
order.
Yes, they're a body of work instead of individual songs, really, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, which is fair. Yeah.
Which makes
it still
seem but it makes it seem less bonkers that a song's 9 seconds long if you put it in the context of
that's
being
true.
a part of a piece of art.
Yeah, well, part of a set of songs. Yeah. A suite. Yeah.
A what?
Suite of songs. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, if it...
Yeah.
All right, take your word for it.
The difference between US and UK grind is an interesting one.
I don't really know.
We're not the first people to talk about it, but it's interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
man, it's full of misogyny. That American side, it's horrible. They helped create it.
Quite topical. You started off talking about manosphere, and here we are.
It's true. Yeah.
But they're not the same things, right? They need different labels.
Yeah, maybe, right?
Distant cousins.
Well, so one example. So we talked at the beginning about them talking about Pig Destroyer, who are a huge band, big American kind of grind band. I'm a big fan of Pig Destroyer, but I was trying to find a song to put. I wanted to put the song Natasha on the playlist. It's like a 35-minute like epic fucking story, I guess, basically. And I was a bit worried about putting it on because it's basically about, killing a woman, basically. It's got that kind of American kind of, but there's a twist at the end where she comes back from the dead and kills her attacker. Right. So I let it stay. I let it stay. Yeah. But yeah, like Cannibal Corpse, they had, tracks called like "Fucked with a Knife" and just like really disgusting. It's like he said, it's pathetic and childish. It's just like it's like boys. It's just. I
do wonder, like,
yeah,
the sort of writing process for the lyrics on these songs. It can't be.
Pete talked about, I think Narcosis are a bit, like he said, they're just about, life and, feeling down and stuff like that.
How
it's
do
like
you work out the lyrics for a 9-minute song?
They just don't have many.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I really liked his point towards the end of it. Pete's point towards the end of it about it's a bit of a. I think it was a bit of a jibe, I guess, where he said 90s bands playing live now so that kids can pretend that they're seeing the band, which kind of means that the bands now, they're not the same as they were back then, right?
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, I kind of, to a degree.
It's not the same. I mean, it's still value in it and fun to do it.
About Shed 7, didn't you?
Yeah, wasn't the same.
I don't know. I've seen Neds a few times and they're still on the...
They're still good.
EMF and Jesus Jones. Yeah, but it's different, isn't it? It is different. You're playing to different... Well, you're playing to... A lot of times you're playing to the same audience that you were back then. But,
life is in perpetual change, You can't step into the same river twice.
Yeah, Confucius.
Heraclitus, I think you'll find.
Sorry.
Doss me, I don't know what you're both talking about.
If you step into the river and step out again, the river's flowing, right? So if you step in again,
when you started
the river's changed, right? Before we finish, just want to draw your attention to one small point.
Well,
go on, then you're going to say it now.
On
that
carry point.
Go on.
Well, it's kind of like when I posted the pictures of Oasis the other week, and you genuinely thought it was just a load of random old gigs.
Yeah,
it's just not the same Oasis, is it? These gigs are going to be good, and people are going to enjoy them, but they're going to enjoy them for the nostalgic reason, not because they're there. They're not. It's not Nebworth. It's not going to be Nebworth 1996, where everyone's in a Britpop bubble, is it? It's different. It's not the same. It's different.
Yeah. It'll be good though.
It'll be good. Yeah, it will be good.
They must be starting soon, though. The Oasis.
I get Pete's point
tour
on it.
Yeah,
it's like so young people can go and see the bands in a poor incarnation of what they were, sort of thing. I guess.
Or a different incarnation.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Different. Yeah. Different incarnation. Yeah. Yeah. I think the gig's start in about a month. Don't know why I looked at my watch. It doesn't tell me that, but people do that.
Got a month on
your watch.
People do it, don't they, all the time?
They should have a month hand on.
They should,
yeah. But I think it is. I think it is next month, July. I think they start, don't they?
Must be coming up.
Yeah. It will be good. Like I say, it will be good. It's different. I've seen some recent footage of Guns N' Roses, and I don't know, man. I think it's time to just,
Sure. Yeah.
I think.
I just want to mention one small, seemingly insignificant thing. Then, if you notice, a couple of times Chris used the word chuffed in the interview. You probably wouldn't have noticed because it's an everyday word. But
Yeah.
It's an important word in the history of grindcore.
Okay, go on.
So when Napalm Death first came out, because like they didn't no way to hear them, well, basically. So like the American fans, they didn't know what they looked like, they didn't know what they sounded like. They had to get like imported like magazines from the UK and stuff like that. And they made a video, like an interview with them. It's just like a 5-minute video. And they used the word chuffed in this interview. And it got like the American fans found this video. It got kind of like copied and, you know, on VHS and copied and passed underground through fans across America. And they all latched on to the word chuffed. They thought it was like this special, like napalm death word. So like it's just British English, right?
Right.
So then when they finally went to America, everyone was like, yeah, chuffed for Napalm Death. And, you know, and Napalm Death got t-shirts and stuff like, you know, chuffed in whatever. In Baltimore, you know, 87, and became like a bit of a meme, I guess.
They thought their favourite band had invented a word that only they knew about.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a
secret code.
Secret code, yeah. So in the grindcore world, it's got a special place. The word chuff. And I thought it's interesting that Chris used it without thinking about it. Right.
That's it for this one. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to Chris and Pete for coming on. Enjoyed that one. If you are watching, then please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give it a thumbs up. Get involved in the comments. Let us know your favourite Narcosis songs, gigs, if you went to see them. Let us know where you saw them and all that sort of stuff. And if you're listening, then please do rate and review. And please do share it with your friends so that they can find the podcast.
If you're new to the podcast, we don't have any other grind acts in our archives, unfortunately, but there's plenty of 90s guitar bands for you to get stuck into. And if you are a regular listener, but you're new to grind, my mixtape will introduce you to the best of grind and power violence and comedy weatherman songs that you need.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this one. Join us for episode 96 of the Stupid and Contagious podcast next week. And in the meantime, try and stay out of that manosphere. Don't get sucked into the manosphere.
Be careful out there.
Dark place. All right, Dave.
See you in a minute.